Bishop T.D. Jakes isn't just a pastor, he's an institution. His Dallas church hosts services for about 8,000 people, with many thousands more watching online. He's also an entrepreneur, an author, and filmmaker. All of it guided by his faith. And for him, this Easter has special meaning.
What does Easter mean to Bishop Jakes?
I think it means the survival of hard times. I mean, what I love about Christianity is that we're open. The very symbol of Christianity centers around the cross and the pain and the resurrection, and that there's hope beyond the darkest moments in our lives. And so for me, this is a reminder to endure suffering and wait on better days to come.
But we don't like to talk about the suffering aspect of our faith a lot. Why is that?
We want to be joyous and celebrate, and that's important that we do that. But in the midst of that, that same faith that gives us great joy sustains us through great sadness. And it's important that we give a panoramic view of life so that we don't have a Pollyanna congregation who is expecting heaven on earth, when in reality we all deal with suffering.
There's been no shortage of suffering, with the racial and political divisions on display at the same time as the deadly coronavirus pandemic. In the early days of the outbreak, I asked Bishop Jakes for guidance on air.
I've never actually done this on the air. Can you lead us in prayer for 30 seconds?
Our Father and our God, we bow our heads to you in humility, understanding that we are not competent in and of ourselves to handle this kind of global calamity.
Some have found solace in their faith, and yet the most recent Gallup study found that for the first time ever, fewer than half of all Americans claim membership in an organized religion. And Bishop Jakes acknowledges that modern life, especially the influences of social media, presents new challenges when it comes to bridging the things that divide us.
Why do you think we have such a hard time with forgiveness now?
To be honest, I think that we can get news in the flavor that you choose, and that becomes your reality. And then we have algorithms that are pumping stories to us through our phones that becomes our reality. And then when we go out there and we run into people that oppose those ideas, we're shocked, because we have not always had the opportunity to hear both sides of a story.
I have found the same to be true with faith to a certain extent. The way some people view what Christianity should be versus the way others might view. A lot of folks forget that Jesus was bathing the feet of lepers and hanging out with prostitutes, but that's not the Jesus that a lot of folks like to talk about. Why?
Yeah, well, the thing about it is, never confuse the master with the servant. I tell God, I said, I love you. I said, it's your kids I'm having trouble with. You know, I love what Jesus did for people, but it scares me what people did to Jesus, both historically and in our contemporary society. We have institutionalized him and made it a fraternity for spiritual yuppies who have arrived rather than a hospital for those who are wounded.
What is your prayer for America on this Easter?
That we would become our brother's keeper. And I hope that it doesn't take a national calamity to remind us that there's more to unite us than there is to divide us. If we start helping old ladies across the street, nodding at people in the subway, and just being good people, not perfect people, but just decent, kind people, that'll go a long ways to make this country live up to its high aspirations.
Amen.
Yes.
I could listen to more of that.
Oh boy. You know, he really helped me get through the pandemic. I've always enjoyed him and followed him and listened to him, but during the pandemic especially, I watched a lot of his sermons online. He makes faith approachable, but a lot of what Bishop Jakes talks about makes folks uncomfortable as well. The way that we view faith and the way that we view Jesus, Christians, doesn't always jive with, you know, the good book.
Because he's so real, because it's not easy. You know, it's not easy. You have to work at it.
It's not a greeting card.
No.
Yeah.
It should not
That was
be.
great. Thank you, Craig.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Find your favorite recipes, celebrity interviews, uplifting stories, shop our favorite deals, and so much more with the Today app. Download it now.